People have a misconception of belief and disbelief. They seem to belittle the power of what it is to believe and disbelieve. You see, when you believe, it's like water. We're made out of water, like 90% or so of water. We're made out of water. All life is created from water. Even the angels, though they are made of light, they still are made of a substance of water. All life. And the reality is that we don't realize that when you believe in something, it makes you move. It makes you do things. It makes you go forward. When you believe, you have courage, you have stamina, whatever it is, you believe. When you disbelieve, you're more fearful, frightened, stagnant. You don't move. You're suspicious of everything. And these are things that people don't realize. And that is why they have to work so hard at indoctrinating you into their beliefs and validating themselves as your rulers or leaders so they can steer you away and keep you in your place. And you don't grow as a people. And that is why this change and this movement is all happening, is because you are meant to grow. You are meant to excel now. And you can't do that holding on to the past, because this right now, this past that these systems that we're living in is dying. They're all dying. And they're trying desperately to hold on. They want you to believe in the wars. They want you to believe in these presidents. They want you to believe so much in these things, but yet reality keeps showing they're not to believe in. You need to believe in God. And you need to rely.
We interrupt our programming. This is a national emergency. Important details will follow. The emergency alert system has been activated.
My brethren, be strong in the Most High, and in the power of his might. Put on the whole armor of Yah, that ye may be able to stand against the wiles of the devil. For we wrestle not against flesh and blood, but against principalities, against powers, against the rulers of the darkness of this world, against spiritual wickedness in high places. Wherefore, take unto you the whole armor of the Most High, that ye may be able to stand and withstand in the evil day. And having done all to stand, stand therefore, having your loins girt about with truth, and having on the breastplate of righteousness, and your feet shod with the preparation of the gospel of peace. Above all, take the shield of faith, wherewith ye shall be able to quench all the fiery darts of the wicked. And take the helmet of salvation and the sword of the Spirit, which is the word of the Most High Yah.
10, 9, 8, 7, 6, 5, 4, 3, 1.
Shabbat Shalom to the Set Apart family of the Most High Yah. We want to welcome you to another Sword of the Spirit audio webinar teaching. We are your hosts and servants of Yah. That way, O Yah, is in the sanctuary. Who is as great as our Yah? For everything you do, O Yah, is set apart. No one is as great as you, majestic in all your holiness, revered with praises, performing many wonders. Let all hands be lifted up to praise and praises to you, O Yah, today. You who created this set apart day, you who made this day, sanctified it, hallowed it, rested on it, the Sabbath day. This day that has your name in it, may we highly esteem you, O Father Yah, as you pass by us all with your glory. And we're definitely Prina. Shabbat Shalom, sis.
Shabbat Shalom, sis. How are you?
I'm good. We're definitely seeing all of his glory today.
Yes,
It is a beautiful, beautiful Sabbath day.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
Hey, grateful. How are you doing on this Sabbath?
I'm well. I can't complain. I'm risen this morning, with the praise of the Most High. He saw fit to give me life, health, and strength and a sound mind. So within that in itself, I am grateful, just to be able to still operate using my limbs the way that he had designed them. So I can't complain. And so I just say praise be to Yah. And I'm just loving this beautiful sun that I'm seeing.
Yes, we've been waiting on the sun. We were wondering where the sun was, as my mother said this morning. December is May is the new December, because it seemed like it just was going back and forth. 30, 40 degrees one day, and then 70 the next day, and so it's caused a lot of people to be sick. Myself, just now getting over a really bad cold.
Okay.
So yeah, just looking forward to getting started with today's teaching. So we're gonna go ahead and get started. Thank you all who are listening in with us on today. You could have chosen anyone to fellowship with, any teaching to listen to, and we find it an honor that you are listening. So we say praises be to Yah, and thank you for joining us on today. And so today's 189th teaching is entitled, Your Faith is on Trial. Your faith is on trial. And we call it a webinar teaching because I had some things that I wanted to present. Most of the time, I don't present with the scriptures, but today I was led to. There are certain teachings that I may do where I may present the information in a webinar on a webinar platform so that you can follow along with me. And this is one of those teachings. And so for many people, I began this teaching with asking the question, did you know that your faith is on trial? And this week, you know, like I said, I've been under the weather. Actually, I've been under the weather for almost 2 weeks now. And I myself I am going through a trial right now. And I've been praying to the Father diligently for months about something. And he has moved in some ways, and in other ways, and for some things that I've prayed about, he hasn't. And me not feeling well this past week or so, you know, I, you know, got behind in my studying because I, you know, wasn't feeling well. I had to go back to the doctor to get some different antibiotics because what, you know, going on with this, you know, upper congestion, you know, upper respiratory wasn't working. And so this week I just haven't been feeling well. You know that. Mm-hmm. So I kind of was like, well, maybe I should put the teaching off. But then, you know, me, I'm like, you know, always thinking about who might miss out, you know. So I said, you know, I'm going to try to, you know, put something together. But then just in the midst of me just trying to put something together, the Father gave me, you know, something. And it's kind of, I think this teaching is going to definitely bless a lot of people. And the thing was, I never looked at it until after putting this teaching together, that my faith was on trial and what this really means. And so how many of you know that when you openly claim to love and know and serve the Father with your mouth, how many of you know that when you do this, it is at that time that whatever it is you're professing to believe in must stand trial? I did not understand that. Mm-hmm. And so with today's teaching, we're going to uncover the hearts and the true intention of those of you who say that you, quote unquote, believe in the Bible. You believe that the Bible is the authoritative word of the Most High. And that's going to be challenged for some of you today. And it's not going to be challenged by me and my opinions, but the word of God is going to challenge you. It is going to uncover to you, those of you who are watching and listening to this webinar teaching, it is going to uncover your true heart, the true intentions of where your faith really is. And so I asked the question, what is it that you're saying? Have you ever said, Yah, use me for your glory? I know that I have said that. Have you ever asked the Father to remove any and everything from your life that is not of him? I know I have said that. So the question I ask is, what is the profession of your faith? What is the profession of your faith? What is it that you truly believe in and in whom? Okay. Do your beliefs and what you say you believe in, do they align with or contradict Scripture? Okay. Where's your stance on the things in the world that rebel against his word? Where do you stand on those things? Do you compromise when it comes to your faith, or do you stand firm? And so today we're going to define what it means to truly have faith in Yah. And we're going to use the scripture to reveal, to unveil, but to truly show you what it means to believe. I think we take the word of Yah lightly. We say a lot of things, Prina, we say a lot of things, and I think people say, oh, I'm a believer. Yeah. Oh, I do this, I serve him, or I love him, or I know him. Oh, and I don't think people really truly understand what this means. Okay. And so today we're going to peel back the layers of your heart to reveal the truth about what your faith really is. Okay. That's what we're going to do today. Last week's teaching, our 188th audio teaching, which was also a webinar teaching, was entitled Abortion is Murder. This is in light of the new Alabama anti-abortion law. And then similar laws in Missouri, Louisiana, Mississippi, and Georgia with their heartbeat bill. We spoke concerning what the Bible says about murder. You know, we answered the questions, is the Bible silent about murder or abortion? You know, we talked about the belief, the mindset, the expected stand that a true believer and servant of Yah should have on this issue. There should be no, if you are a servant of Yah, there should be no disparities. There should be no differences. There should be no confusion as it pertains to where you should stand. It should be perfectly 100% unequivocally clear. Everybody who is serving Yah, who truly serving Yah, I saw it last week where you really stand. I saw it. And so, and Prina, feel free, because this is very interactive, so I don't want it to be like a normal, you please jump in.
Okay.
It's interactive, so it's not just me, but I want people to understand that it's you take us where you take your stand as it pertains to the things in the world will truly tell if you are really a believer or not.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of people who expose themselves for not being believers, and it is what it is.
Yeah.
And people can get upset, but it's the truth. And so I'm going to go ahead and get started.
Okay, sis.
And this is, you know, again, at any point, you don't have to wait until the end. You can, you know, jump in. But we talk about, let's think about the court. You know, when you have court, let's talk about the trial process and how court works. Because the judicial branch, it has to apply the existing laws to each individual situation. Okay, it has to apply the existing laws to make sure that justice is administered fairly. Okay, they can't just come and pull something out of the air. There have to already be laws set in place that states that this is, you know, wrong, you know, inappropriate, or crime.
Yeah.
Okay, and so the existing laws are created to not only make sure that justice is served and is administered fairly, but to also punish those who are guilty of breaking the law. Okay, and this is how you keep the rest of the community safe from crime or from those who are deemed as unfit to roam free in society, from criminals. And so again, let's briefly talk about the trial process, because if you've ever been to court, you know, I'm sure Prini, well, you say you didn't.
Oh yeah, I served on many trials.
Okay. See, I have not. They called me one time and then it got solved before I got there because I was waiting till the last minute, so I was glad. But if you've ever been to court, at the trial, both sides give their opening statements. The opening statements will state why, you know, they feel the offender is guilty, why the offender may feel that they're innocent. And then after you have the opening statements and the evidence is presented, witnesses may be called, questions are asked, you know, each party have their opportunity to give the rebuttal to the evidence or the witness statements, you know. And then once the rebuttals are done, then again, both sides give their closing statements, okay? The judge or the jury then, as you did, Prina, takes in all of the information that was presented, and then they come back with a ruling.
Yeah.
Okay? And after the judge or the jury gives this ruling or the verdict, the judge will then sentence the offender. Okay? During each part of this court process, though, and I don't have time to go into every minute part, but during each part of the court process, there are rules that need to be followed. And so in a trial, the parties have to either prove or disprove an unresolved issue in a case. That's the whole point of going to trial. You have an issue that is unresolved, and you have to, and this issue has to be proven or disproved. Okay? And so when you have, as I said, there's the rules that are set in place. They're there to govern how the evidence is to be collected. Because some evidence they have to throw out. Okay, if it's been tainted. And so and they decide what type of evidence will be allowed, to be admitted into the case, because that will affect how the judge and the jury may consider or render a decision. Okay, and some of the evidence can be physical evidence. So the physical evidence can come in the form of maybe a recording. We see this all the time. People record people, like police officers and people doing things on video, and then they put it on, Facebook or social media, and now it's gone viral. Many people have gotten prosecuted and sent to jail just by someone recording with their phone. So a lot of times they don't even allow you can't even, I don't think it would bring phones in court.
No.
Okay. So you got the physical evidence, which could be a recording or an object, maybe something that has your blood or DNA on it, therefore it can approve or attach you to committing a crime. Maybe fingerprints, photographs, those type of things are physical evidence. Then we have the eyewitness testimonies. Okay, these are the testimonies of people who actually observed the event taking place. That's why it's called eyewitness testimony. So the difference between eyewitness testimony and witness testimony. An eyewitness testimony is the testimony of a person who actually observed the actual event taking place. And the witness testimony is these are people who were not there at the scene of the crime, but they have personal knowledge or information that may be relevant to the case. And one other thing that I want to make note of is that all witnesses must swear or affirm that their testimony will be truthful. I forgot they do that. And if a witness makes a false crime or false claim, under oath, then they're going to be charged with what we call perjury. Okay, and that's a crime even in the scriptures. If you pervert judgment, lying, if you be a false witness, that's like death for someone to be a false witness. So, as it pertains to the scriptures, which is the word of Yah, we know that Yah is not a man where he can lie. Okay, and we also know that he and his son is true, and his name is true. Okay, and so let's flip this from our worldly judicial system to the system or the blueprint that is laid out in scripture for us. We're going to begin by defining a couple of definitions that I feel will lay the foundation for this teaching. But before we do that, I want to just take a look at the screen. Okay, so we look at photo number 1, and is this faith? This is a question I have. Is this faith? Your church congregation, look at the people, they got their hands lifted up. And then we look at photo number 2. Is this your faith? Hands crying, lifted up to the Father. You're crying out, you're emotional. Or is faith number 3? Okay, is this your faith? Is your faith your culture, your dress? If your head is wrapped up, if you look, holy, you look like what people would deem as being righteous. Is your faith wrapped up in the physical aspect of being righteous? Or is this your faith? Number 4. Look at photo number 4. Is your faith your pastor? Is it your church building? Is your faith based off of everything that your pastor or your church has said? And so we're going to define, as I said, faith and trials. So let's begin with trials. According to Google.com, a trial is a tryout or an experiment to test quality, value, or usefulness. To compare clinical trial, it says one of a number of repetitions of an experiment. So we see here that this is a repetition, something that will repeat itself of an experiment. When you're trying to experiment with something, what are you trying to do? You're trying to test something, okay? And it also says a test of faith, patience, or stamina through subjection to suffering or temptation broadly, a source of vexation or annoyance. Thesaurus.com defines trial as an experiment, to investigate, to examine, to test, to analyze. It says to struggle. Okay, crack. It says crack, which means hand-picked, best, choice, proficient, able. So it is said that Thesaurus.com has deemed a trial as an experiment, something that is used to investigate, to examine, to test, to analyze. And then it also says to struggle. So a trial is a struggle. It's not something that is easy.
Yeah.
But it says it's a struggle. And then let's define faith. According to Hebrews 11, 1 and 2, it says, now faith is the substance of things being hoped, and it was the substance of things that have come to pass, and the evidence of things not having been seen, for by this the elders obtain witness. So I said I want to dig a little bit deeper, because on the surface, many people may not understand that. Because I see people oftentimes quote this in church: faith is the substance of, of things hoped for. And then they equate Hebrews 11, 1 and 2 with just believing. If you just believe in your heart and believe in your mind that Benz is going to be yours, and just like Mary said, what they don't know is I get down on the floor on my knees and that's not faith.
Yeah.
So I said, let me break this down in the context in which it is being spoken of in Hebrews 11, 1 and 2. Blue Letter Bible for Faith says it's the conviction of the truth of anything. It says to believe, assurance, the character of one who can be relied on. And then it says fidelity. So your faith, according to the Blue Letter Bible, is the character of the one that Yah can rely on. The fidelity, this is loyalty. This is loyalty. When you talk about fidelity, let's think about it. When a husband and a wife get married and someone steps outside of the marriage, it was someone that they're not in covenant with, and then you file for court, you say, well, they call it infidelity. Your character could not be relied on. You were not loyal. And so what the Father is looking for, when you say that you believe and that you have faith, that means that he can rely on you, that you will be loyal.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
This is the conviction of the truth of anything. When you believe, you are committed. Just like when you're in a committed relationship, I can't say, I believe in you, I believe in this marriage, I'm committed to you, but I'm stepping out on you. No, I can't rely on you. There's no assurance in that. The Blue Letter Bible for substance, because it says now faith is the substance of things hoped for. Substance, I said, let's break this down. I don't want to just read Hebrews 11, 1 and 2 and then go on. No, we need to understand so that it can be clear when this teaching is over what true faith is. Substance, according to Blue Letter Bible, says that it means confidence, the foundation. It says firm trust. That which actually exists. That which actually exists. That's where you get the idiom, it is what it is. Faith. The character of one who can be relied on, who is loyal, is firmly trusting in the Father. Firmly trusting in the foundation. What foundation? The foundation that is. He says, I am. Faith is the substance of faith is the substance of things being hoped for. Okay, it says it's also the evidence of things that have not been seen. Evidence is, according to the Blue Letter Bible, it had one sentence, and this is it: proof. Proof that by which a thing is proved or tested.
Yeah.
Not just proof, but you have proven, okay, that you can be trusted. You have proven, you have been tested. I say it all the time, we're in education. A student doesn't get to go to the next level unless they have proven. They have to have been tested in the current grade that they're in, showing that they're proficient and that they are ready to move on. You have to prove. How can you prove? How can the teacher know that her student is ready? Do they not give assessments? Do they wait till the end of the year to give an assessment? No. We're constantly assessing. That's what we call formative assessment. Formative, we do formative when we do summative. But formative assessment gives you immediate feedback right on the spot of where that child is. And then summative assessment is something that after you have gone over a specific amount of information, then you may test or assess in chunks, or you may give something at the end. But you're constantly assessing that child. And so, as it pertains to the scriptures, and the word of the Most High, and you have to give me a second because I have so many things that I want to share. And I'm trying to present them in a way where I can make this I don't want to make this teaching more difficult to understand than what it needs to be, but I also want to make sure that I get to the heart of the matter as well. Mm-hmm. And so another scriptures, and when you look at Hebrews 11, 1 and 2, where it says, now faith is the substance of things being hoped for, and it was the substance of things that have come to pass, and the evidence of things not having been seen, for by this the elders obtained witness. True faith is one who stands firm on the foundation that the Father and the Son have set. They're immovable. Their trust is in Him. Their character can be relied on. They're committed. They're loyal. And their loyalty, their fidelity, their faith can be proven and tested by the trials, the experiments, the testing that the Father puts them through, the waiting, the patience, the stamina, through subjection to suffering, affliction, temptation, all of these things. He is going to, as the source.com said, investigate you to see if you are reliable, to see if your faith, does your faith have a crack in it?
Mm-hmm.
He's going to examine you to see if you're in the faith. That's what we were told to do. He's going to test you. You're going to struggle. That's the only way you're going to find out where you really are in your faith. Sometimes we think we know and we don't know until we actually have gone through a trial where our faith really stands.
Yeah. And I just want to chime in a minute for a second. What just came to me was, remember when Jacob was wrestling with the angel of Yah, the messenger of Yah, which was Yeshua.
Yeah.
And Yeshua told him to let him go for his daybreak, and he said, "No, I won't let you go unless you bless me."
Mm-hmm.
And Yeshua said that to Jacob, your name no longer will be called Jacob, but Israel, because you have struggled.
Yes. Oh, yes. Hallelujah. Yes.
You have struggled with Yah,
yes,
and have overcome.
Yes.
And he
believed. And he believed that he was.
I'm not gonna let you go until you bless me.
That's substance right there.
Yes.
That's the substance of things hoped for. That is a powerful. I'm glad you brought that up. That right there, that was the substance. He trusted and believed in that.
Mm-hmm.
He trusted and believed in it. So he had confidence.
Mm-hmm.
Look at it. Blue letter Bible for substance.
Yeah.
Jacob had confidence. He had firm trust.
Mm-hmm.
What trust? That which actually exists. It is what it is. He believed. That's powerful. Thank you for bringing that up. I'm glad.
You're welcome, sis. And that's in Genesis 32 and 22 to 31 talks about Jacob wrestling with the messenger of Yah. Genesis 32, 22 to 31.
Thank you.
You're welcome, sis.
And so faith shows a reality, really. It shows a reality of what we hope for. Okay? Jacob hoped to be blessed, and he had that firm trust and foundation. It shows the reality of what we hope for. It is the evidence of the things that we cannot see, despite what is in front of us, because what's in front of us, Satan, is an illusion.
Yeah.
That's the thing. It's an illusion. He wants you to believe what you see in front of you and keep your eyes off of what Yah has told you in his word. And so faith is not blind belief, but it is substance and it is evidence. And so I want to read two precepts. I want to read two precepts. 1 Peter 1:7 says, "These have come so that the proven genuineness of your faith, of greater worth than gold, which perishes, even though refined by fire, may result in praise, glory, and honor when Yeshua HaMashiach is revealed." 1 Corinthians 10:13 says, "No temptation has overtaken you except what is common to man, and Yah is faithful. He will not let you be tempted beyond what you can bear. But when you are tempted, he will also provide a way out so that you can endure." And so, having said that, when we're facing a difficult situation or a difficult decision, it's important that we are able to distinguish between a trial. We should be able to distinguish between a trial and a tribulation. Or not a trial and a tribulation, but a trial from a temptation.
Yeah.
Because a trial is much different than a temptation. And we're going to go into that in a moment. Yah allows trials in our lives. And he allows them to purify us, to strengthen us in our faith. But when temptation comes to entice, to pollute, and to weaken you. That's the difference.
Yeah.
Trials are here to purify us, to strengthen us in our faith. But temptations come to entice, to pollute, and to weaken us. And whether we like it or not, as believers, we are going to face both temptations and trials. We're going to have temptations and we're going to have trials. The Father Yah tests, but he does not tempt. You are only tempted when you are drawn away after your own lust.
Mm-hmm.
Okay? Because a lot of people tell me he's not going to tempt you. No, the Father does not tempt you. The scripture tells you that. He comes to test you. And through the testing, you will go through a trial. But temptation comes from the enemy. But you can only be tempted after you're drawn away, after your own lust. But you're going to face both temptations and trials. It will come in different kinds of ways on various scales, from minute, the smallest, to the largest. And sometimes some of these trials will seem nearly unbearable. Okay? But he says he will not allow you to be tempted beyond what you're able to bear.
Yeah.
Okay? He doesn't tempt you, but if he allows the temptation to come, he's not going to allow you to be tempted beyond what you can bear. He will always make a way out so that you can find a way out of everybody is always tempted. We live in Satan's, this is the God of this world.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
He's if you marry, he gonna have every fine person you can think of come in your face. There's always a way out. But again, you'll go through various temptations and trials on various scales, from the smallest to the largest. But it is during these times, whether trial or temptation, or whether it be a trial or a temptation, that our faith will be on trial. Mm-hmm. This is when your faith is on trial, when you're going through trial or temptation. When people go through trials, normally it's something that you have said or professed. Your faith being on trial is about your faith. What you say that is the truth. What you say you believe. What you say you're committed to. Okay? That is what is being on trial. The things that you have professed out of your mouth, who you have professed to be in Yah. And you have heard, and people in the world have heard you say this: I'm a believer, I'm a servant, I know him, I love him. Your faith is getting ready to be on trial the moment you do that. When you declare, Yah, Father, use me for your glory. Yah, send me to the nations. How many of you have ever said that? Send me to the nations. Yah, show me myself. I surrender my life to you. I surrender my all to you. How many of you have said that? Father, allow men to see me in you, or allow men to see you in me. Father, I'm ready to be a living sacrifice. How many of you have said this? I have. How many of you have prayed, Father, prune my heart, change me, remove all my enemies from my midst? How many of you have prayed that? Prepare me for marriage. I want to be married. Prepare me for my husband. Prepare me for my wife. How many of you pray, propel me into my destiny? What am I supposed to be doing? What's my purpose? Remove from me everything. How many of you have prayed this? Use me, Father. Send me. Use me for your glory. Do you understand what you're saying when you say, use me for your glory? Do you understand what you're saying when you say, use me for your glory? Remove from me any and everything that is not of you. Send me. I don't think people understand the weight. Like when I did this, was putting this together, it hit me like a ton of bricks. This is what I'm going through right now because of it. My faith is on trial. I don't think people understand the weight of the words that they say when they say these things, because when you ask to be used for his glory and asking that people will look at you, when people look at you, that they will see the Messiah in you and do what you will with my life, Father. Again, do you know what you're saying? Because when you ask for these things, when you fully are ready to relinquish all control to the Father, that means you're surrendering every aspect of your life to him. In every area, you're trusting him. And we need to be very clear when we look at the patriarchs and the prophets and the apostles in the Bible. They were not rich. That many of them were, some were, but most weren't. They weren't all rich. They weren't all well loved. They weren't making millions of dollars. There are going to be some of you who are going to be severely persecuted. There are going to be some of you that are going to be beheaded for his name's sake. It tells us that in Revelation, when their blood is crying out, when are you going to avenge? When the rest of your brother who get ready to be beheaded, when they come in, who are about to be beheaded. There are some people who will be killed for his name's sake. Do you understand what you're praying for when you say, I want to be used for your glory? Do you remember the man that was blind? And when Yeshua came in, and one of the disciples, I can't remember which one, he said, Father, my master, where did this come from? Which one of his parents was in sin? Yeah. This man was blind. And he said, he's not blind just without a purpose. He said, this is for the glory of Yah. Do you understand? When you say, I want to be used for your glory, that might mean you might not be able to walk, but you're going to be a walking testimony. You might be blind. You might be destitute. You might go without. You might have everything stripped from you. There are some people who are going to be beheaded. That's for his glory. There are going to be people who are going to be killed and persecuted for his name's sake. Because not everybody is going to be rich and live what the world calls a quote unquote good life. Yeah. Not everybody is going to have that great job or have that child who has special, you might have a child that has special needs. That might be for his glory. And we as believers, I don't think that we understand the extent. I don't think we truly understand in full totality, in full knowledge, the magnitude and the level of intensity that it takes to sustain this glorious calling of being a true servant. Because in the beginning, it's not all glamorous, it's not pretty, it's not smooth, it's not comfortable. It's none of those things that most of us have pictured in our minds when we openly profess. When you hear me in the Christian church, Lord, use me. Use me for your glory. Send me. I'll go. Do you know? Well, look what happened. John the Baptist prepared the way.
Yeah, he did.
What happened to John the Baptist?
Yeah.
Was he not beheaded?
Mm-hmm. Yes, he was.
Come on.
I think
it's not pretty.
Mm-hmm.
And because, do you know what? When you say you want to be used for his glory, do you understand the people that was used for his glory? To look at all of the prophets.
Yeah.
I'm going to be going through some of those in a minute. I'm getting ready to go through a list. I ain't going through all of them, but I'm getting ready to go through a list. Do you understand that to be used for his glory? Do you understand those people? Do you understand what the two witnesses are going to have to endure?
Mm-hmm.
Israel,
yeah,
Ephraim, and Judah, the two houses. Do you understand what they're going to have to go through to be used for his glory? Do you really and truly understand what you will have to endure to be used by Yah? Do you understand the level of sacrifice? Do you know how much pruning and shaking and salting by fire, suffering, affliction after affliction, that you might be called? Do you understand how much you're going to have to do or go through? You're gonna have to suffer affliction after affliction. You're gonna have to. There's a lot that you're gonna have to do and go through. A lot of testing and proving of your faith. Do you not remember what our Messiah went through?
Yeah.
Do you not remember Job and Joseph, brother Stephen, Jeremiah? Do you not remember Moses? All the prophets? Abraham.
Yeah.
Abraham. Okay. He was tested. It tells you that. When Yah tests us, he tests our faith, never to break us, but to strengthen us.
Yeah.
That's why when you read Hebrews 11, 17 through 19, it tells us that by faith, Abraham was tested. By faith, he was tested. By faith, Abraham offered up Isaac. And because of that, he received the promises. He said, and Isaac was the one in whom our descendants will be called. He said, I want you to sacrifice your son, your only son. He had Ishmael, but Ishmael wasn't the promised son.
Yeah.
Okay? Joseph was sold into slavery. He was for the glory of Yah and to save his people. He was sold as a child into slavery by his brothers who were jealous of him.
Mm-hmm.
Look what he had to endure, going to jail. Yah didn't allow anything to happen to him.
Yeah.
He protected them, he covered them, and he became governor, second in command right after Pharaoh. Mm-hmm. He was able to save his people from a famine. Mm-hmm. Years later that they knew nothing about.
Yeah.
But Yah was saving his people because it would have been none left. They had to come to him. By him going through, who want to say, Yah, use me for your glory, and you get ready to be locked up. Mm-hmm. You get ready to go and be taken from your family. Who would put in prison? Who would think that's for his glory? He had no idea later down the line, much later, well into his adulthood, that he would be the one that would save his family. That was for the glory of Yah. That's why I said, do you know what you're saying when you pray these things? Jeremiah is known as a weeping prophet because he was constantly crying out to Yah and grieving for the people Israel They were unrepentant people then, and they're still an unrepentant people now. They continued in their sins, even though they were warned over and over and over again to repent. Jeremiah's trials were not physical in nature, but he suffered great spiritual anguish in his heart because of Israel. And we already know the end story. They refused to listen to the warnings of Yah through Jeremiah. He sent them, and what happened? He sent them and carried them off to be captive as slaves to the Babylonians. Mm-hmm. Job lost his house, all his riches, his cattle, even his own children.
Yeah.
Yet he still chose to praise Yah for his goodness. Job recognized that everything that he had in life came from the hand of Yah. What did he say? If Yah chose, he gave it to me, but if Yah chooses to take it away,
yeah,
you know what I'm saying?
Yeah,
Who was he to complain?
Yes.
He was not gonna complain.
Yeah.
Job was beyond the physical loss.
Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? Mm-hmm. He was allowed. Y'all allowed Satan to come into his life. He removed the hedge of protection so that he could be afflicted, but he said you can't kill him. See, Satan can only do so much. So we stop giving Satan so much credit. He can only do what Yah allows. We give permission and enter into covenant with the kingdom of darkness and unclean spirits by how we live our life, the things that we do. And they have a right to enter in, and yet we always talk about the devil busy. No, you busy. You the one that's busy. Stop blaming it on him. You've given him permission.
Yeah.
Brother Stephen was stoned to death. He went down saying, Father, look, forgive them. They don't know what they're doing. Who gonna go down saying that and somebody beating you with a stone? He didn't even want them to be, the act of murder to be charged. Do you understand the love that you have to have in your heart for your people when they taking big bricks and throwing them at you? I mean, I could go on and on. We don't have enough time to go, but I gave you enough examples for you to get the picture. Moses too, look what he went through.
Yeah.
With all the stiff-necked Israel. Mm-hmm. He didn't even get to go in and see the land because of them. Well, It was because of him, but because of them constantly bickering and complaining, and it's just getting ridiculous. And so something that stood out to me as I was preparing this lesson was something that David prayed in Psalms 27. In Psalms 27, verse 1, David prayed, Yah is my light. And we say this, we have said this, we know this prayer. Yah is my light and my salvation. Whom shall I fear? Yah is the strength of my life. Of whom shall I be afraid? Then when you get to verse 13 and 14, which is the last two verses, he says, I would have fainted unless I had believed to see the goodness of Yah in the land of the living. He tells you, he gives you some advice. Our forefather David says, hope in Yah. Hope in Yah. Faith is the substance, remember? Mm-hmm. And these things that we hope for. David said, hope in Yah. Be strong, and he will make your heart. He will make strong your heart. Yes, hope in Yah. Have faith in Yah is what David is saying. Be confident in Yah. Let your faith be firm. Firmly trust in him. David said, look, if I wasn't serving Yah, I would have fainted unless I had believed. He said, if I didn't have faith, I mean, think of all the stuff David went through. He said, I would have been fainted by now if I hadn't had faith. Because that's what it means, unless I had believed. Faith is belief. We went over the definitions earlier. He said, if I would have fainted if I didn't have faith. So he says, let your hope be in Yah, not in your circumstances. He says, and Yah will make your heart strong. Then he ends it again, hope in Yah. Are you looking at this? And so I want to go to some scriptural examples of the Apostle Paul. I saved him last. I went over, some of our other forefathers, Joseph, Job, some of them and some of the things, just briefly, without having to go to the scripture for everything, but just briefly going over some of our forefathers who were used for Yah's glory. The Apostle Shaul, Paul, he was definitely used for the glory of Yah. And so I want to go over some scriptural examples of Paul. And I want to read a little bit about Paul. It says, Acts chapter 26, verses 9 through 18. For at the very beginning, this is Paul, he says, I was determined that I ought to do many things contrary to the name of Yeshua the Nazarene, which I also did in Jerusalem. Also shut up many of the saints in prison, receiving authority from the chief priests, and they being put to death, I took part with those that condemned them. And in every synagogue, I tortured them, while I pressed them to become revilers of the name of Yeshua. And in the great wrath with which I filled against them, I also went to other cities to persecute them, and which also traveling to Damascus with authority and the decision power from the chief priest at midday along the highway, O king. And he says, I saw those with me. He said, I and those who were with me saw a light from heaven shining around me above the brightness of the sun. So I want to stop here, because what Paul is describing here, and he's revisiting, and he's going back, and he's telling you before his faith in Yeshua now, prior to that, he's saying, and that's why he starts it off in Acts 26 and 9, that in the beginning, he says, this is not how it always was in the beginning. He says, look, I used to be a persecutor of the saints. I used to persecute people who stood for the name of Yeshua. I put them in prison. I put them to death. I took part in condemning them. I tortured them. I went from city to city against them. He said it was in my heart, when you look at verse 9, to do the things that were contrary to the name of Yeshua. Continuing with verse 14. And all of us falling to the ground. So he's saying now he was on his way to Damascus to continue in his persecution when he said a light shone from heaven. And he said, all of us fell to the ground. And then Paul said, I heard a voice speaking to me and saying in the Hebrew dialect, Shaul, Shaul, why do you persecute me? Is it hard for you to kick against the stakes? And I said, who are you, sir? And he said, I am Yeshua, whom you persecute. But rise up and stand on your feet, for it is for this reason I appear to you, to appoint you as a servant and as a witness both of what you saw and in what I shall appear to you, having delivered you from the people and the nations, to whom he says, I now send you. These were the people that you were persecuting. I allowed you to persecute my people. You're going to be a witness. You're going to be a witness. And he says, now I want you to rise up and get up on your feet, because I'm appointing you as a servant, and not only as a servant, but a witness. Look at verse 17. He says, I now send you to open their eyes and to turn them from darkness to light, and from the authority of Satan to Yah. This is powerful.
Yeah.
In order that they may receive the remission of sins and an inheritance among those being sanctified by faith in me. Being sanctified by faith. You are sanctified by your faith. That is what sets you apart. Is your faith. Not what Hebrew clothing you have on, not because you can speak fluent Hebrew, you got your hair wrapped up and got your mitri on. Not because you know how to say shalom in 5 different languages. It's because of your faith. That which you are loyal to, that with whom you in character, Yah can rely on you. He can trust you because you stand firm. You're not wavering back and forth, believing every wind of doctrine. You're not compromising. There is proof through testing, through experiment, through investigation, through examination, through how you live your life, that you are a servant. Paul said that he said, I'm sending you now, and I'm going to open up your eyes. You're going to turn my people from darkness to light, and from the authority of Satan, who has them captive to do his will, to my Father Yah, in order that they may receive remission of sins and an inheritance among those being set apart by faith in me. See, despite what people believe, most people don't know which Gentiles Paul was sent to. These were not just any non-Israelite Gentiles. That's why he addressed it to the 12 tribes.
Yeah.
People miss that. People miss that. He says to the 12 tribes. He greeted them. He said all our fathers was under the clouds. Whose fathers was under the clouds? The pillar of cloud by day and a pillar of fire by night. Was that not the children of Israel? Paul was talking to the Gentile Israelite nation, the Israelite strangers. And this is not to say no other nation can be saved. You definitely can. You take hold to the covenant. But he made the inheritance belong to the people that he made the covenant with. And he was going back for those lost tribes, those lost people that he scattered. That's who Paul was sent to. So Paul is recounting his experience with the Messiah. How there was a shift in what he once believed to his newfound faith in our Messiah, that he would now be sent to. Do you understand everything that Paul went through for the glory of Yah? Yeshua is telling them right here, you getting ready in Acts 26, 17 and 18, this is Yeshua telling them, you getting ready to be used for the glory of Yah. I told, and I've shared this with you, Prina. I heard this. And I believe this, I heard this where it says, you are the light.
Yeah. Yeah.
You are the light. And I believe the Ruach. You are the light. You are the light that will bear witness of he that came into the earth. This was told to me. Mm-hmm. That I would be bearing witness to he who came into the earth. Of that, and he was talking about our Messiah.
Yeah.
I know that's a heavy, that's not no light thing to be told that.
No.
Because when I'm looking at all the examples, I'm not seeing nothing peachy green. I'm not seeing nobody sitting up with their feet propped up and grapes being popped in their mouth. I'm not seeing none of that. Let's more on Paul. 2 Corinthians 11, 22 through 33 reads, now if they are Hebrews, so am I. Are they Israelites? I am also. Are they Abraham's seed? I am also. Are they ministers of Messiah? I speak as a fool. He said, I being beyond them in labors, more abundantly, he says what? In stripes. That means he was getting beat. Stripes, he says, beyond measure. In prison. Much more in danger of what? Death. What did he say? Many times. Many times was he in danger of death. Are you looking at this? Paul we just got finished reading. You getting ready to be used for my glory. What is he going through right now? What are we looking at in 2 Corinthians 11:23? He said that he was beat with stripes beyond measure, in prison. His life was in danger many times. Look at verse 24. 5 times I received 45 stripes, minus one from the Jews. 3 times he says I was beaten with rods. He said I was stoned once. I was shipwrecked 3 times. He said I have spent a night and a day in the sea, in a shipwreck. He said, I have been in travels often, in dangers of rivers, and dangers of robbers, and danger, he said, from my own race. In danger from the Gentiles, in dangers in the city, in dangers in a wilderness. He says, in danger in the sea, and dangers among false brethren. We're in dangers of false brethren right now, going around teaching false doctrine. Everything in Christianity, 95% of it is false doctrine. We are in danger of false pastors, false teachers. He says in hardship, in toil, in sleepless nights. He says, I haven't been sleeping. I've been hungry. I've been in thirst, much fasting, coldness, nakedness. But in all, what did Paul say? What will take me away from the love of Yah? He said, I've been in want, I've been in need, I've been rich, been poor, I've had everything, and then I've lost everything. He said, but nothing will take me away from the love of Yah. This is what your faith has to be rooted and grounded in. If he never does anything else in your life, the fact that he sent his only begotten son, he's done it all. He don't have to do anything else. Anything else he does is because if he chooses, if it's his will. But if he doesn't, are you going to turn your back away? When the men asked the Yeshua, what do we got to do to be saved? When they found out the requirements, it says at that moment, that's when they turned away. When they found out what was required to follow him, and to be saved, it says they turn their backs. Then he looked at his disciples. Are you going to turn your back too? See, this is about sacrifice, getting beat, being shipwrecked, getting stoned, getting beheaded, getting persecuted, having people leave your life, having people that you have loved, dearly loved. You having to walk away from them because they don't love the Father and they are a stumbling block to your walk. Because he's told us to come out from among them. Are you understanding what I'm saying? It's about sacrifice. It's about being willing for the affliction. That's why he says only those that endure to the end will be saved. You have to endure. Part of your faith, as we read earlier at the beginning of this teaching, is suffering. It's suffering. I don't think people understand this. I don't think people understand this. More Paul. 1 Corinthians 11, 28 through 33. Paul says, besides the things outside conspiring against me day by day, he said, I have also the care of all the congregations. Who is sick, and I do not feel the pain? Who is caused to stumble, and does not have my heartfelt sympathy? Is it right to boast? He said, I will boast of the things of my suffering. I'll say this again. I will boast of the things of my suffering. How many of us going around, yeah, I'm broke. Yeah, I don't have no job. I know I wasn't. He says, I will boast of the things of my suffering. Yah, the Father of our Master, Yeshua HaMashiach Messiah, who is blessed forever and ever, knows that I am not lying. In Damascus, the general of the army under King Artus placed the city under guard, desiring to seize me. And I was let down through a window, through the wall in a basket, and escaped their hands. Are you looking what he had to go through? Mm-hmm. He was let down through a window, through the wall in a basket. Wow. And escaped. Whew. But we want to be used for his glory. Some of y'all might be having a different prayer life after this. I mean, he be like, wait a minute, I hadn't considered that. You understand what I'm saying? Mm-hmm. So let's talk about Paul's thorn. Because Paul had, we say, you ever heard the idiom, you a thorn in my side?
Yes. Mm-hmm.
Coming from Paul in 2 Corinthians chapter 12, verses 7 through 10 reads, and by the superabundance of the revelations, Paul says, that I not be made arrogant, a thorn in my flesh was given to me, a messenger of Satan, that he might buffet me, that I not be made haughty. So Paul is saying, because you know how sometimes when you are given a lot of power, you know, he's giving you strength, he's giving you a lot of knowledge, people become puffed up. I'm prophet such and such, I'm super prophet. I'm, you know how, especially Israel, we want to put all of the Hebrew gear we can find and wear them all in one day. And all the wraps, if we got 10 wraps, we want to put all 10 of them on. Can't even stand up so we can look super Hebrew. This is what we do. You know I'm telling the truth.
Yes,
but
yes.
Paul said, so that I would not get puffed up, you know, be arrogant.
Yeah.
He left this thorn in my flesh, and he calls it a messenger of Satan. Okay? This thorn was a messenger of Satan so that he wouldn't get too haughty. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
The scriptures tell us that he did not want to be puffed up. You know what I'm saying? Pride. Mm-hmm. I know this. I'm all, you know how we do.
Oh, yeah. Oh, yeah.
He says, beyond this, he says, I entreated our master 3 times that it depart from me. So he said, I prayed. And he said, what did Yah say to him in verse 9? He says, my grace is sufficient for you. For my power is made perfect in weakness. My power is made perfect in weakness. Therefore, I will rather gladly boast in my weaknesses, that the power of the Messiah may rest upon me. Because of this, I am pleased in weaknesses, in insults, in dire needs, in persecutions, in distresses, for the sake of the Messiah. For when I am physically weak, then I am spiritually strong. Do you see this?
Mm-hmm.
When you are physically weak, you're spiritually strong. How many of you really knew that's what it meant to be spiritually strong, to be physically weak? That's the reason why Satan don't want you to fast. Because when you fast, the flesh is weak. But when the flesh is weak, you get stronger spiritually, because you can you now have power to overcome a lot of things that a lot of things that you could not overcome. A lot of things you had no strength and power to physically overcome, you can spiritually overcome if you are strengthened spiritually. Mm-hmm. Paul said that because of this, he's pleased in weaknesses, when he's insulted, in dire needs, in persecution, in distresses. During these times, he says he boasts and he's pleased because this means that he is. You think about, and I think about, childhood, how I grew up, not having a lot of times. You think about the times when you became the strongest. Wasn't it after you went through something that you became stronger? What do they say? Triumph comes after tribulation.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? After you've gone through something, after the storm, there's the rainbow.
Yeah.
You see what I'm saying? After you've gone through something, that's when you become stronger. And having gone through it, that's when you become a testimony. When you want to be a living testimony, now you praying for a trial to come.
Yeah.
When you say, use me and use me for your glory, you are praying for a trial. When you say, strengthen me, you praying for a trial. You know what I'm saying? That's what it is. What it is. When you want your faith to be proven and tested, and you want your faith strengthened, that's what it is. We're not going to be able to get away from it, because he said those who serve the Messiah will suffer persecution.
Yeah.
If you follow him, if you follow our Master Yeshua, you are going to suffer persecution. Period. That's what it means to struggle. That's what it means to struggle. When you walk that narrow, when he says walk the straight and narrow road, that's the narrow road is a struggling road. Something that's narrow, you don't have as much space to do what you want to do. If you walk on a high wire rope, you got to put one foot in front of the other. You step too far to the left or the right, guess where you at? Splat. So we can see through Paul and what Paul endured. I'll say this. Our lack of understanding, because a lot of times we don't understand, Father, why am I going through this? Why do I have to suffer this? Why, it's been this long. And I know, because I'm going through it right now. And I feel like this teaching that he placed on my heart to do was for me. And not only for me, it's for everybody, but it's giving me answer to some of the things.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying? I'm building, he's building the fruits of the Spirit in me.
Yeah.
And also the proving of my faith is being tested. My faith is on trial right now. Okay? And I know that. But our lack of understanding why Yah allows or tells us to do something is never an acceptable excuse for not doing it. We have to, when Yah has told you to do something, you must move, because you being stagnant and being delayed and moving, that you don't know. That's a sign of disobedience. It's a sign of disobedience when he's told you to do something and you still haven't done it. You have to ask yourself, why haven't I done what he told me to do?
Yeah.
When you read Hebrews 12, you'll see that it teaches us to endure hardship and be willing to suffer persecution. Because his word says that those who endure to the end will be saved. Those are the only ones. And so faith and the very nature of it implies a degree of trial. Faith and trial go together. Think of them as bosom buddies, salt and pepper. Mustard and ketchup. Faith implies levels or various degrees of trials. As I said earlier, Yah never gives, he gives us trials to strengthen us, but also to prove us, but never to break us. But some people will be broken because they find out that what they thought was their faith, really, they never had faith to begin with. It just exposed them for the frauds that they were. Yah does not give us faith to play with. Having faith in him is nothing to play with. Having faith is not something that we take off the shelf and dust off for a special occasion. Oh, we got this dinner coming up. Let me take my faith off the shelf and use this right quick. This is who you are. Do you understand what I'm saying? It's who you are. Mm-hmm. And so trials are the very element of faith. Consider it like if you had a suitcase called faith. Trial is coming. It's in the suitcase. It's packed up and waiting to be taken out. Faith without trial is like a diamond uncut. Think about a diamond. A diamond doesn't start off as a diamond. Do you understand the process that a diamond goes through? It doesn't look good or pretty or anything that you want to sell right off the bat. Untried faith is no faith at all. Even Yah tells you not to even be call someone a friend in haste. He said, allow them to prove themselves. Allow them to prove themselves. They need to be proven that they're a friend. Anybody can say they're a friend. What about when you're in need? Or do they disappear? Are they there in your times of need when you need something? And so it is he whom Yah has tested and prevailed. It is he who, after encountering temptation and has not been overcome by temptation, it is that man they will hear, well done, my good and faithful servant. That's what that whole thing is about. Well done, my good and faithful servant. You have endured the test. You have overcome temptation. It is in him or he who will endure until the end and thus be saved. And so again, the trial of your faith is sent to prove its sincerity. That's what it is. The trial of your faith is sent to prove your sincerity. Mm-hmm. How sincere is this? How genuine is this faith? Is this a fake faith? Yeah. This is the only way that it can be done. Is to test it to prove its strength. Mm-hmm. He has to test your faith that you profess. I'm a servant of Yah. He don't care nothing about you shaloming and Canaan and how many times you sit up in church every week and how often you go to Bible study, how many scriptures you can quote backwards and forth. He doesn't care about that. Your faith is not going to be proven, or the sincerity of your faith is not going to be proven by your Hebrew outfit. It's not going to be proven by how many times you sit up in church, what seminary school you went with, how many people think you set apart. It's going to be proven. After he sent that test, you've gone through that trial, you've overcome, you didn't turn your back, or through that temptation that he allowed to see if you're going to falter. Again, the trial of your faith is sent to prove its sincerity, and the only way that this can be done is to test it, is to prove its strength. How strong is it? Is it weak? Some of you, your faith is only as far as your lips. Mm-hmm. That's it. As soon as you stop talking, that's your faith. Right there. Vapor. Gone. What did Paul say? What will take me away from the love of Yah. Deuteronomy chapter 8, verses 2 through 5 says, "You shall remember all the way which Yah your father has led you in the wilderness these 40 years, that he might humble you, testing you to know what was in your heart, whether you would keep his commandments or not. He humbled you and let you be hungry, and fed you with manna, which you did not know, nor did your fathers know, that he might make you understand that man does not live by bread alone, but by every word that proceeds out of his mouth." You do not live by bread alone. We did a teaching on this and what it truly means when he says you do not live by bread alone. That's why you need to fast. You're sustained by him, not the food that you eat. He is the one that provides the food. But everything is not about eating. Faith and life is not about eating. Everything is not about fulfilling your flesh. It's not about getting full. He told Israel that they were being humble and tested to know what was in their heart, to see whether they were going to keep his commandments. Many of you last week, if you would think that it's okay to abort a baby, even in a case of rape, your faith is weak. Your faith, many of you don't even realize your faith was on trial last week. Many of you who were calling yourself a believer, posting scriptures and then talking about, oh, a woman had a right to choose. Your faith is on trial. You just failed. Guilty. Already. Mm-hmm. A line was drawn in the sand last week with that new anti-abortion law in Alabama and the other similar states. Many of you, your faith was on trial. You say you believe in the Bible. You say you have faith in him. You're committed to him. Yet you failed the test. Mm-hmm. That's why I say people do not truly understand what it means to have faith.
Yeah.
There's no compromise on faith. That's why I asked you earlier, where's your stance at?
Yeah.
As it pertains to the things that's going on in the world. Where were you so-called believers at when they came out with this law and jumping up for joy? I was happy about it. Yes, do I know that they getting ready that's just one of the rights they getting ready to start taking away all our rights? Yes, because they're getting ready for the New World Order. They're getting ready for martial law. We all know what's getting ready to happen.
Yeah.
But that's one of the laws that I'm happy about. These are innocent babies. If you did not see our webinar teaching, it was actually with videos and PowerPoint. Wasn't long, but it was powerful. Please go back and check out last week's 188 webinar teaching, Abortion is Murder.
Yeah.
That right there tells you where you stand. Abortion is murder. Many of you, your faith was already right there. You teeter-tottering. Your faith has to be grounded and rooted in what the word says. You have to stand on it. And that means when the world comes with their laws that contradict the Father's laws, you don't jump ship. You can't have your hands stretched out on both sides of the line. You're going to have to choose this day who you going to serve.
Yeah.
I'm serving Yah, but when it comes to abortion, I think that the woman has a right to choose. No, you don't. Your body is not your own no more. When he sent his son to die for you, you were bought with a price.
Yeah.
Your body no longer belongs to you. You can't do what you want to do with it no more. That's a life. Even in the case of rape, have the baby and then give the baby up for adoption if you feel that strongly. I'm not saying I wouldn't understand, but if you kill, that's a life.
Mm-hmm.
Some of y'all cry more about animals than you do about people. You like Prina said last week, you talking about double homicide if you kill a woman that's pregnant. Well, the baby was unborn in, so what's the difference?
Yeah.
If they will send someone to prison, if you murder a woman who was pregnant, that child was unborn. So why is it a double homicide if you claim that if it's not alive, it's not a real life? If it's not a real life, then what you going to the abortion clinic for? If it's so-called dead, if it's not a life, come on now, you contradicting yourself. Yes, I was upset last week because a lot of people that I thought that was believers, they're not believers, and it's just that plain and simple.
Yeah.
You can't be on both sides of the fence. What did he say? If we say that we are in fellowship with him, meaning if you say that you are a believer, yet you walk in darkness, come on now.
Yeah.
You do lie.
Yeah.
Your faith is not real. Whatever your faith is, it's not in the Messiah. It's not in the word.
Yeah.
It's not.
Yeah.
And so
true.
an ending, because I told you this wasn't going to be long. In ending, the faith of all who claim to love Yah. Okay. The faith of all who claim to love Yah and the faith of all who profess to be a servant of Yah. You're going to be tried at various times in your lives.
Mm-hmm.
It's going to be uncomfortable.
Mm-hmm.
But as uncomfortable as it is and will be, it is an absolute necessity. It has to happen because it's the only way. It's only through trials and the proving of your faith that you claim to believe in and stand for. It will be through these trials that Yah will weed out the pretenders. He has to prove the faith that you claim to believe in. You can't enter into the secret place, the Holy of Holies, unless you are truly in covenant relationship with him. Many of you think you're in the covenant relationship and you're in a contract that expired back at the outer court.
Mm-hmm.
It will be through these trials that Yah will weed out the pretenders, the fraud, the fictitious believers. He's going to weed them out so that they disappear and only the true servants are left standing. Because being in the presence of those who are about that righteous life, if you're in the presence of those who are about that life, about living for Yah, who are about striving for true perfection, true holiness, when you're around them, it always reveals and exposes the faith and those who have a lukewarm faith or a worldly faith. When you're around those who truly, I saw from, and I don't communicate with everybody on Facebook, but I saw many of my brothers and sisters on Facebook. We were on the same team. We on the winning team. We on Team Yah, Team Yeshua.
Mm-hmm.
I saw many who was posting the same stuff that I was posting on Facebook. Same. And then I saw those who quoting hallelujah every 5 seconds, quoting scripture, oh, God is good, I'm blessed, and highly favored, and all this. But then you talking about the woman has a right to choose. You're on the wrong team. You think you on Team Yah, but you not.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
You know, when you are in the presence of those who are like-minded, who have the mind of Yah, who are striving to be transformed into the image, the glorious image of Yah and our Master Yeshua, and to be one and to abide with them. There, you are able to see the real versus the fake.
Yeah.
I saw so many fake, and I'm not trying to make railing accusations, but I saw so many fake, weak-faithed people. All it took was this anti-abortion law.
Yeah.
Another trial of our faith that is exceedingly common has to do with the allowance of false doctrine, false teachings, false prophets from ministers to Satan. This is another trial. How many of you knew that your faith on trial is him allowing false doctrine, false teaching from false prophets and false ministers of Satan? How many of you knew that is part of the trial of your faith? Because y'all could easily, if he want to remove all false doctrine, he didn't have to allow it.
Yeah.
He could put a stop to all the wolves and sheep clothing. But him allowing these things is a perfect way to test, like he told Israel, his people, the hardest people, to see if they will take heed as he told them. As Messiah said, do not be deceived. Let no man deceive you. Allowing them to prevail, him allowing them to prevail into their destruction is the perfect way to reveal the true heart of his people. It is a perfect way to put their faith on trial to see where their faith in him really lies. Who would have thought that him allowing a false prophet and allowing false teachers to remain around will be a way? He allowing them to prevail. He's allowing them to prevail until destruction. He's allowing them, they have a specific time. He's allowing them because he's able to prove to see if his people are going to follow his ways. That's what he told them in Israel and Judges. I'm not going to remove these heathen nations from around you no more. I'm going to leave them here in your midst to see and to prove if you're going to obey me or not. So, most of the times, the trial of our faith comes in the form of an affliction. But sometimes the trials, like I just said, will come in the form of him allowing false teachers to come into your midst, him allowing false pastors to tell you something, to see what you're going to do, to see if you're going to say, my pastor said, my false pastor, versus what the word of Yah, versus what my faith should be, what it should be grounded in. You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
It might not be a physical form of affliction, but he's going to allow deception to creep in, deceivers to creep in. That's your faith on trial right then and there to see what you're going to do. That's why I said trials are going to come in different ways. It might not be affliction. It might be deception. You know what I'm saying? It come in different ways, different times, different scales, maybe small, minute to large. We don't know. But most times, the trials of our faith usually come in a form of affliction. And so I have three final three final precepts that I want to read. And then I'll be done. James 1 verses 2-4 says, consider it all joy, my brethren, when you have encountered various trials, knowing that the testing of your faith produces endurance, and let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete and lacking nothing. This is the whole reason, the purpose for being afflicted is to test your faith. He says, count it all joy when you encounter these various trials, because your faith is being tested, and through the testing, it produces endurance. Why? Because you need to endure to the end to be saved. This testing of your faith is for your salvation. Because many people are going to fold when this new world order and this martial law comes, because they don't have a clue what's getting ready to hit them. We mentally, I'm wrapping my minds around it now. He says, let endurance have its perfect result, so that you may be perfect and complete, lacking in nothing. So sometimes you're going to have to just endure until the storm is over.
Yeah.
He wants you to be complete. He wants you to come into the full knowledge of the Messiah. Romans 5, verses 3 through 4. And not only this, but we also exult in our tribulations, knowing that tribulations brings about what? Perseverance, and perseverance brings about what? Proven character, and proven character brings about hope. This is about building you up. Do we look at this way when we're going through it? No. No. Isaiah 4:10, behold, I have refined you, but not as silver. I have tested you in the furnace of affliction. This is it. This is it right here. You're being tested in the furnace of affliction. We're being tested in the furnace of affliction. You're not going to see the kingdom unless you are. He says everyone that seeks salvation is going to be salted by fire. Go back and check out our teaching, salted by fire. Psalms 119, verse 71, David said, it was good that I was afflicted, that I might learn your statutes. A statute has a time element. A statute has limitations. There are boundaries. Statutes teach you and give you more information about the laws that he already has in place. It teaches you how, where, when, what, how, why. When to do it, how to do it, where to do it. Not just to do it. When Yah told us about the feast, we can't just keep the feast whenever we want, where we want, how we want. Statute teaches you, it gives you additional commands. It teaches you how to keep his laws. That's what statutes do. The Sabbath day, which is today, is a statute. It keeps you in the remembrance of his laws. It's very specific and detailed on how to keep the laws of Yah. That's what statutes do. Today is a Sabbath day, the seventh day. We can't do what we want right now. I can't just say I want to go to the movies and get up and get dressed and go. I can't just say, well, I'm getting ready to vacuum right now. He says you shall do no work.
Yeah.
Do you understand what that means? This is what I'm talking about. Your faith will be tried. Your faith will be tried individually. It may be tried as a nation, as with Israel. And oftentimes your faith will be tried searchingly. When I say searchingly, I mean where you might not even get what you pray for right away. It might not be given to you at all.
Yeah.
Then what you gonna do?
Yeah.
Your faith might be tried, for like I said earlier, a useful purpose there for his glory that you might not even know that you're being used for. I'm going through now. I don't know what it's for. It could be for his glory. All of it's for his glory, but I don't know if it's for the proving of my faith, if it's for somebody else that may need to hear my testimony. But again, you might not know the purpose in which your faith is being tried for, what you're being used for, until after you've come out of it on the other side.
Mm-hmm.
But again, it will vary. But I know this one thing: the trial of your faith will increase. It will develop you. It will deepen you. It will strengthen you. It will perfect you. And if you endure to the end and overcome it, if you remain faithful to Yah while going through and not turn your back on him,
Mm-hmm.
we may wisely rejoice. But it's very few that rejoice in tribulation. This is when tribulation is when our faith grows strong. The trial of our faith is useful. Yes, it is. But more than anything, it leads to the self-discovery of our faith to ourselves. We learn through going through what we're going through, the self-discovery of what our faith is to ourselves.
Yeah.
Y'all already know.
Yeah.
And so when affliction comes, and it's coming, and makes a disturbance in your life and breaks your peace, your faith, that's when your faith rises from the ashes.
Yeah.
Our true faith comes out of its hiding place
Mm-hmm.
to bring Yah glory when you're being afflicted. I want to thank you for joining us today for our teaching. Your faith is on trial. Yeshua, our master, is standing at the door. The veil has been rent, it has been torn. There is nothing stopping you from entering into that secret place, entering into that relationship, to entering into having full knowledge of who the Messiah is, but you. You are the only one that can stop that. So what is your faith rooted in? Is your faith rooted in the word of Yah, which is the sword of the Spirit? If what you say you believe in is the Bible, then anything else that contradicts it, that goes outside of what is inscribed for us as his people, you must do away with it.
Yeah.
You must throw it away. You must discard it. You must turn away from it. You must not take heed and listen to it. You must detach and change your mind. That's what it means to repent. You must change your mind. Those of you who believe that it's a woman's right to choose, you must repent. You must change your mind. Your thinking has been tainted. You are under Satan's rule. He has you captive doing his will by endorsing women's choice, pro-choice. If do you believe that your faith is weak and you have no faith in it, whatever faith you have is not in this Bible.
Yeah.
It's not in our master, Yeshua. It's not in the true faith. Any last words, Prina, on today's teaching before I have you take us out?
Yeah. I just, just examining the whole faith, and like you mentioned about the pro-choice and women, the women body is their own, and if you're condoning that, then you're condoning sex, with outside of marriage. It's just a whole trickle of things that you are condoning, you know, that is against the Father. And you have to really, this lesson really helps you to search where your heart is at.
Mm-hmm.
You know, because if you condone in pro-life that a woman can do whatever they want with their body, then you condone in sex, you know, outside of marriage, you know, because eventually they got to that point to have the abortion, you know, outside of rape and incest. You understand what I'm saying? So I've seen a lot of believers, you know, during that time of the law coming out, of where they really truly stand, you know, with the Most High Yah, as you have saw, Sister Shatan. And I was appalled, you know, because you claiming you know him, you believe in the word, but yet you upholding things that he is against and that he hates. And so we have to, at the end of the day, if you say you are truly a believer of the Most High, you have to examine where you are at with Yah, where you are at in your beliefs and what he believes, and use his word to measure where you are at in the faith. Because a true believer will not uphold anything that he hates, period. You will speak out against it, whether it's safe sex, whether it's homosexuality, whether it's smoking marijuana, you know, whether it's
plenty of them, they stand for, they call themselves believers, sitting up at church Sunday, and they still believe all of them. They support marijuana. That's
So you have to speak out against all those things. It's not, he's not just you can't have a buffet. You know what I'm saying? You can't, it's not a buffet where you just pick and choose, where, you know, some stands that you feel that is in your heart what you don't agree with, and then you speak out against that. But then when like when I said with double homicide, you know, you would speak out with Nipsey, you know, and how he was murdered, but then you're not speaking out about how an innocent life is murdered through abortion. You know, that's you know, you can't pick and choose on which side of the fence you
they can pick and choose. Just stay on your other side.
Yes, I mean,
yes. Playing hopscotch, going back.
Yeah, double dutch.
You're gonna be on that side.
Yes.
Stay on that side. Don't come back.
Yeah.
I wanted to read this last thing before I go. It says,
okay.
In the book of James, James is concerned about the hearts of the people.
Yes.
James is straight up telling you right off the bat.
Yes.
He's just like John.
Yeah, I like John too. Yeah.
He's not gonna sugarcoat it. But he says that if any of you lack wisdom, let him ask Yah, who gives to all freely and with grace, and it will be given to him. He says, but let him ask in faith, doubting nothing. For the man who doubts is like a wave of the sea, being driven like the wind, being tossed to and fro. But do not let that man suppose that he will receive anything from the Almighty One. For he is like a double-souled man, not dependable in all his ways. This is what he means. You're not dependable. He cannot depend on you. This is James chapter 1. He said, blessed is the man who endures temptation, because having been approved, he will receive the crown of life, which Yah promised to the ones loving him.
Yes.
Those who love him have been proven. That's why he said, blessed is the man who endures temptation and having been approved. That's trial and temptation.
Yeah.
You have been approved and you have overcome the temptation. You have endured the temptation. You have endured it and you have overcome the temptation.
Yes.
We have to get to the point where we're doers of the words, as James said, and not only hearers of the words. He says, because you are only deceiving yourself. You are deceiving yourself if you think that you are a believer. Yet you support same-sex marriage.
Yeah.
You are deceiving yourself if you think that you are a believer, but you believe in abortion and that a woman has a right to choose.
Yeah.
You are deceiving yourself if you believe that marijuana should be legal because it's drug sorcery. You are deceiving yourself if you think that the law of Yah is done away with.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
Do you understand? You're deceiving yourself because you're saying part of his word is dead.
Yeah.
You know? And so we have to get to the point where we love what he loves and hate what he hates. We don't have to go around and be hateful, but we hate what he hates.
Yeah.
We stand for what he stands. He said, you either for me or you are against me. But there is no, the lukewarm are the ones that are being spewed from his mouth because it does not sit well with him. When you vomit, it's because something is not sitting well with your stomach. It makes him sick.
Yeah.
That's why he says he's gonna vomit you out of his mouth, because it makes him sick. For you to, in your mind and in your heart, to think I can teeter-totter on both sides of the fence.
Mm-hmm.
He is not gonna care about scriptures you quoting, how many times you was going to church, how many times you called his name, and what you say you believe in. Remember, we learned earlier, what you believe is what you do.
Yeah.
What you do is what you're committed to.
Mm-hmm. Mm-hmm.
And so if you can lead us out with the reading.
Okay, yes. 1 Chronicles 29, verse 10 through 13 and verse 18. And David blessed Yah before the eyes of all the congregation. And David said, blessed are you, O Yah, the power of Israel, our Father, forever and ever. To you, O Yah, be the greatness and the power and the high esteem and the victory and the majesty. For all in the heavens and the earth belongs to you. O Yah, yours is the kingdom, and you lift up your head. You lift up yourself to all as head. And the riches and the honor come before you, and you rule over all. And in your hand is power and might. And it is in your hand to make great and to give strength to all. And now our power, we are giving thanks to you and giving praise to your high esteemed name. Oh yeah, the power of Abraham, Isaac, and Israel, our fathers. Keep this forever for the intent of the thoughts of the heart of your people, and prepare their heart toward you. In Yeshua's name, so be it.
In Yeshua's name, so be it. So we want to thank you for joining us on today.
Yes.
I truly enjoyed teaching this. It wasn't long, but I feel like it was impactful, and we pray that this teaching will bless you. We pray that you enjoy the rest of this Sabbath, and may Yah bless and keep thee. May he make his face shine upon thee and be gracious to thee. May Yah lift up his countenance upon thee and give you peace. In Yeshua's name, so be it. Shabbat shalom.
In Yeshua's name, so be it. Shabbat shalom.
Take me past the outer court and through the holy place, and past the brazen altar. Lord, I long to see your face. Pass me by the crowds of people and the priests who sing their praise. Lord, I hunger and thirst for your righteousness, and it's only found one place. Take me into the holy of holies, and take me in by the blood of the Lamb, and take me into the holy of holies, and take the coal, cleanse my lips. Here I am, here I am. Bring me in the inner court and past the golden light, and through the incense altar. as in the days of Moses, pass over me with your spirit. As in the days of Moses, hide me in the cleft of the rock, but do not keep your spirit from me. I want to see you face to face, for I was made to gaze upon the beauty of the Lord. So I come on into where you are. I lift up my gaze to the heavens, and everything else seems to fade away. So take me into the Holy of Holies, and take me in by the blood of the Lamb, and take me into the Holy of Holies, and take the coal, cleanse my lips, here I am. I just wanna see you, I just wanna know you, I just wanna love you in the secret, in the quiet. For I am after your heart, for I am after your heart, for I am after your heart, for I am after your heart. It's the glory of God to hide, but it's the glory of kings to seek and find. It's the glory of God to hide, but it's the glory of kings to seek and find. It's the glory of God to hide, but it's the glory of kings to seek and find. Find your heart. I'm after your heart. I'm after your heart. So come on up to where I am, and don't feel shy or ashamed. And come on up to where I am. You